My expectations for the NEOM Beach Games are really, really high. No pressure. The NEOM Beach Games is an opportunity to just be free and climb free. It's incredible that climbing is getting bigger and bigger, and being part of the NEOM Beach Games is an incredible opportunity, I feel like, for the sports, but also for us athletes. I'm hoping that the NEOM Beach Game will really have a big impact and leave a legacy for climbing as well in the area. Showing that climbing or other sports, it moves people, it brings people together, it creates good emotions, and that's what we all should have more in our lives.
We have the men's boulders semi-finals and then the finals on the wall here.
Hello and welcome to the desert of Saudi Arabia for the NEOM Beach Games. We're here for a climbing competition like you've never seen before. Well, let's have a look at our starting list, shall we? We have 8 athletes into this afternoon's semi-final, starting off with Agatha Calais from France, Georgia Tessio from Italy, Katja Debovitz, Evgenia Kazbekova. I know she's down as Evgenia, but we're going to call her Genia because that's what she would prefer. Camila Moroni, Petra Klingler, Julia Kruder, and finally Selma Mimouye from France to finish things off. Those 8 athletes will compete, and 2 of them will be knocked out. We're looking for just 6 for this evening's final. And as you can see, our camera rotate around. Well, that is the backdrop for our climbing competition. Pretty incredible here. And here are the athletes, and I'm joined once again by Romain, the route setter extraordinaire. Romain, first of all, welcome back to the commentary box.
Yeah, it will be an interesting round with this condition. I don't really know what will happen because we make some adjustment just before the round because of the conditions. We will see.
Yeah, the sun is beating down on our stage. Now let me explain the format here. We've got 4 boulders and the athletes have 2 minutes to check out each boulder. However, different from a normal IFSC competition, the athletes have seen videos of the boulders. And we'll talk about more in a sec. But first of all, Romain, tell me about boulder number 1. What's it like?
Okay, it's the slabby one. You have to go over this edge after the starting position with this gray volume, and there is a kind of turning move to go to the zone and to stop with the left hand on the volume, and then like a tricky ending, matching your hand, moving your feet to go to this top hold.
We saw quite a few slabs in the men's competition yesterday, but this section of the wall is kind of around the corner as well, so not your traditional slab.
Yeah, it's really different from yesterday. It's more like moving on the volumes and yeah, different style.
Yeah, there is the corner there. You can see the pink tape coming around the side of it. Corner or an arête, as we say in climbing. So the athletes will start on the right of that corner, traverse around it and finish at the top of the wall. Now, if you don't know the rules, well, it's pretty simple, really. You start at the bottom, you finish at the top, and that's the maximum score. And in the middle of the climb, there is a zone hold, and that is the first scoring opportunity for the athletes. Now, Romain, we talked about the heat a little bit. It is challenging this afternoon, way, way hotter than we're used to here.
Yeah. So we test the boulders in more or less the same conditions, but every day it's different here. So we have to, until the last minute, we have some reflections, some things to imagine. So yeah, it's never ending.
Well, look, for people who aren't climbers, just explain to us why the heat is our enemy. Like, what does it do for the athletes?
Yeah, for bouldering, we know that the heat is really, the friction is really depending on the temperature. So now the wall is almost in the sun, and it will be hard for some holds for sure.
Okay, so less grit for them out there. Well, we're checking out boulder number 2. Romain, tell me about this one, a different style.
Okay, this one is completely different. It's about contortion, about this trench start to go into the 2 sky balls, and then move with these sky balls with nothing. There is no holes on these big blue volumes, and you have to move to the right and then go up and down, and it's quite a tricky contortion.
At least it's in the shade, that's all I'm going to say, because it's protected a little bit.
This one is in the shade.
And Romain, this is the wall that we will see in the Paris 24 Olympics. Is it exciting to be setting on that wall?
Yeah, for sure. This wall is quite interesting, and this is maybe the 3rd time for me to set on this wall, and every time we set something different, so yeah, it's nice.
There are lots of options available for you. And you know, in terms of degrees, steepness of the wall, the roof section down the end about 60, 65, or is it less steep?
No, not so much. Yeah, it's around 13 for the profile number 3. and yeah, around 50, I think, for the roof.
Okay, well, that roof is coming up. The athletes working their way through the boulders as the time ticks down. And it does give us an opportunity, and don't worry, I will be going through the rules as we go along. But this format is different from normal. So instead of 4 minutes per boulder, that time is split into 2. The athletes get their first 2 minutes. If they can't do the boulder in that time, they leave. They then get to come out on stage, watch the other athletes climb, get some tips, get some ideas, go back and have another 2 minutes on the boulder. Of course, if you send it within the first 2 minutes, you're done, you move on to the next climb and you have plenty of time to rest. And Roman, it's changed things a little bit, hasn't it, in the way the athletes approach the climbs?
Yeah, we can see yesterday it was, I mean, crazy with the Japanese guy, because he did so many attempts in so short times. And it was really impressive to see how the climbers managed the strategy and the time with only 2 minutes.
Yeah, strategy is the word, really. It's fascinating watching the different tactics. All right, boulder number 3. It looks slopey, it looks pinchy. Tell me about it.
It's the powerful one. It's really depending on your shoulder strength, and yeah, big swing on the second move. And you have to play with the heel hook or 2 hook on this big pinch on the right, and then to go to the zone, it's a really shouldery move, and yeah, it's only depending on you how strong you are.
And on the back of that zone, you can see the zone hole with the green tape on it. On the back of that, there's what we call jibs. There's small screw-ons.
We can see this zone, but under the, maybe we're not in the screen, but under the hole there is a small crimp. We have a blocker to avoid matching hands. And the second one on the clean is also a small jibs, really thin for the left hand before to go to the last pinch.
Yeah, I'm pointing that out just because it's blue on blue, and it's only because I went on stage and had a look that I could see it. You've been sneaky there, hiding it a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, the athletes have 48 seconds. They're all checking it out. And remember, they've seen these boulders before. They've watched videos. They'll watch their other competitors climb them. But Roman, I mean, it's hard to judge beta and decisions on how to do the moves on other people, because people are different sizes and shapes.
Yeah, but as usually in bouldering, we are different size, different shapes, and yeah, I mean, this one on site or flash, it's not a big surprise for them. It's really powerful. It's like the beta is easy to understand, so we will see if the level is good.
It's what you hope it to be.
Yeah,
and do remember, these route setters, Roman and his team, they work incredible hours all night, all of the morning. How many hours sleep are you on now, Roman?
Yeah. I think tomorrow will be a super rest day, and yeah, I'm pretty excited for the final for tonight.
Me too, can't wait. That will come up tonight, 7 p.m. Saudi Arabian time. Right, boulder number 4. It's in the shadow of that steep section we were talking about earlier. So again, go through these moves for me.
Yeah, so we use these tsunami holds for this number 4. With this underclean for the start, and then a big compression on the tsunami on the roof, and then you play with the 2 hook to go to the pinch on the roof again, and then you have to go to this small pinch on the left on the edge, and you have to control the swing on this move before to go to the zone on the after the roof. And then when you go to the zone, you have to match, you have to go on the right to play with your heel hook to go to this really fat pinch with the right hand, and match on this one and go again on the crimp, and the last left crimp to go to the top.
So a lot in that
like
boulder.
a long boulder, not as long as yesterday for men's, but kind of powerful and long boulder.
Okay, well, the women are almost finished, and they are helping each other out, which is something it might seem a bit unusual to some people watching this, because although they are competitors, they are against each other. It's athlete versus the wall, versus the boulder problem, and that's what they're trying to do, is figure out the sequences to give themselves the best chance to do it. So it's pretty unique to our sport, isn't it, Roman? I mean, we wouldn't see it in a triathlon, for example, people helping each other out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, this format is really nice for the show.
All right, well, last 30 seconds here before the athletes will leave the stage, go back, jump in an ice bath, and then wait for their turn. And they will be coming out in a couple of minutes throughout this afternoon. So put it on in the background. Enjoy the incredible climbing on offer, and do remember that we lose 2 of these athletes Only 6 will progress to the finals. And if you're watching this thinking, well, I want a bit more of this action, you can check out the videos on the IFSC YouTube channel and other places as well if you want to see the semi-finals and finals from the men's comp yesterday. Right, Roman, that's it. Thank you so much for joining me.
Matt. Yeah.
Best of luck for setting for the finals.
Enjoy the show.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Talk to you in a bit. Well, today is all about the women. Yesterday, of course, was all about the men. Well, there were some highlights from yesterday's entertainment. It was a brilliant comp, and congratulations to Mejdi Schauk, who took that win and the prize pot on offer. You can go back and watch those, as I said earlier, so go and check out the action. But right now, these 8 women on your screen will be competing in a couple of minutes. This is an invite-only competition based on ranking and who wanted to come here to the desert. And for some of these athletes, it's a perfect way to finish off their season. This is it for them. One last chance. One last time to pull onto the wall, get some prize money and finish off your season with a bang. And after this, most of them will be going away and having a well-deserved Christmas break as we wrap up the IFSC season. All right, our first athlete is on stage. It's Agatha from France, the young athlete, an up-and-comer in that French team, and we know how difficult it is just to get into that French team, let alone get a regular place. So one to watch for the future for sure. She approaches the first couple of holds. And just to give you an idea of conditions out there, the sun currently directly on the wall, and you can feel the heat coming off it. Of course, all the athletes have these same conditions to work under, but in terms of skin management, saving, can be pretty tricky. So the 2 minutes are on the right-hand side of your screen. Once that runs out, Agatha will leave the stage, and she'll probably come back onto the stage. And we've got a couple of athletes. I'm sitting Petra on my left, and who else is there? Camilla Moroni is sitting watching.
Height of 158.
And it's been great to see their faces as well as watch the athletes. Agatha, careful with the feet here once more. Looks down, it's a bit blind around that corner, and she makes a stabby move onto the yellow sloper, but can't quite make it work. I'll be having a co-commentator come and join me later on. One of our speed climbers is going to come into the box. Michael will be with me later. And there are the athletes I was saying. They're sitting on mats, having a look at the other climbers on the wall. And it's a good chance for them to see different tactics. And although they've watched videos, it's very different when you see a climber do it in real life compared to that. Agatha, again, onto the sloper. This move around the corner that's currently causing her problems. She's being much, much slower. Hit the black volume with the left hand. Couldn't hold the move. So with 30 seconds to go, and this is where it is a bit different from normal. Usually the athletes would have a chance to rest, and then of course they'd continue for that full 4 minutes. But this new format has allowed some interesting things to take place. And often in the second 2 minutes we see the athletes with more confidence, really committing to the moves because they've watched the others do them. They know it's the correct solution rather than trying to figure it out. But let us know what you think. We're trying things out here in the desert. Why not? Right, next up is Giorgia Dassio from Italy. Agatha leaves with a long drink of water. Much needed out here in the desert. Yesterday, the conditions were a bit more cloudy, so the men had some more shelter, but of course this evening the sun will set and we'll have a totally different set of conditions. Much, much colder in the dark in the desert.
Welcome.
Right, Giorgia is out onto the mat. Italian athlete. Had a good season. We'll be looking to finish things off with a bang here. Straight into the starting holds. The position the athletes have to start in is indicated by those pink lines you can see on your screen. One limb on each line. You have to be in a controlled position to start things off.
Great to have the crowd getting behind our athletes here.
So, better progress here as she makes her way around that corner. drops the right foot underneath. Needs to do some kind of an adjustment here. Went out towards the crimp zone hold, and although she touched that hold, she won't be awarded the scoring for it. You have to use the hold. You can't just slap at it, hope for the best. You have to use it either by shifting your center of gravity or mass, or your hips, just enough so the judges can give you the score for that.
To 1 minute. Georgia Tazil
Who'd want to be a judge, eh?
talks up, makes her way back to the start.
So Georgia again at the beginning. And you can see the starting position I was talking about. 2 feet down low where the 2 pink lines are. One left, one right, and now she can begin her climb. Much more confident than Agatha was around this corner. Has a little look, that left foot shaking slightly as she tries to put maximum amount of rubber down. And that flag move, when an athlete gets it, it's going to be spectacular. Legs will be flying horizontal as they try to hold the crimp.
Down to the last 15.
So 15 seconds remaining of her first go.
Come on, everybody, 10 seconds, come on. Come on,
See hype in the crowd here who's started to gather in our stadium. Georgia is not going to be able to get this, but she might understand the move a little better. Oh, she is into the zone and gets the points. So right in the dying seconds of her first round, she's got the zone. That will jump her up to the top of our leaderboard as it currently stands. Remember, lots of climbing still to go. It's a good start from Georgia. Confidence booster as the buzzer went. She's having a good season. 21st in Laval, most recent Continental Olympic qualifier.
All right, next up.
Katja Debovitz is out. Lady I spent some time with in the Forest of Fontainebleau recently with a few people after that Laval comp. She was in good outside form, carrying a little bit of a niggly shoulder injury, so hopefully that's gone away now. And Katja can show us why she is one of the world's best. Stretching out towards the sloper, wraps that hand around it. Trying to get maximum skin and friction involved. Has a little cheeky look around the corner as she searches for that foothold. It's blind because of the corner. Just by trust and feel, she has to hope that she's on the correct place. Does a big bump, somehow has the tension to hold that, but that was close. Curves her neck around, literally, and now she can finally, for the first time, see those feet she's standing on. Hits the sloper and, the side pull and palms down, and now one move away from the top. Can we see our first top of the afternoon here? This is impressive stuff from Katja. She needs to drop down to the yellow volume on the left, though. There it is. Tickled it with the toe, but not quite. She's on underclings for her hands, and it makes it a very difficult position in order to drop down. Now, stretching towards the top, one hand. She has to have 2 hands on it, demonstrate control. And that will be enough for a quick drop from Katja. Big smile on her face. And that's a flash as well. So first time of asking, she got it done. Maximum points, maximum score from Katja, and what a way to start off her afternoon. What sun? Who cares about conditions? These athletes will crush whatever. All right, next up from Ukraine, Zhenya Kazbekova. She was telling me she had 48 hours of travel in order to get here, coming in from the US, so a long, long way. A couple of days to get over jet lag and to rest, and now let's see what Zhenya can do. She does like a slab.
Here in the semi-final.
You need to trust your feet, real climbing instincts, and squats really low, which is interesting. Instead of staying high and searching for that foot, by being lower, it's less far to reach. Big move needed though. Hit the right, palms down with the left. So far, so smooth. And this is where Katja really had to battle this undercling. Drops that left foot down, but look how smooth Zhenya is. Well, we knew she was good on a slab, but that was seriously impressive. Easy work from Zhenya. She will leave the stage nice and quickly. Have time to rest. And the pressure starts to come on for the athletes who are following, of course. Not really many secrets in this format, but athletes really enjoy it when they hear that a boulder gets done because of the crowd's reaction. They know it's possible. Others hate it, they feel the pressure. Well, Camilla Moroni is up there with the world's best. She's not one to usually feel pressure, so let's see if Camilla can deal with this. Just getting her feet correct. It won't count as an attempt until she's off the ground, which she is now, out towards the sloper. Now we saw Jenya squat down here, which looked like the better way to do it. And Camilla as well is nice and low, but she's missed that left foot currently. Needs to bring it up. There it is. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. Just needed a little bit of an adjustment to make sure she's on that hold.
World Championships bird in lead women.
Left hand wrapping around that volume, trying to get some skin involved. The zone to come. She knows it will be a right hand into that. It's fascinating, even though she'll know the beater, she still tried to stick her foot up just in case and goes with the left hand. Now the problem is, well, she's going to have to match, as about to say. It's pretty simple for her. So different methods from Camilla Moroni.
Eyes on the top.
And I got to say, that looked really good.
Ladies and gentlemen.
But interestingly, there are no athletes watching that on stage. So a different method from Camilla, and one that the final three wouldn't be able to learn from, because Petra is waiting at the back. Julia Kruder wasn't there, neither was Selma. So interesting. Maybe I'm trying to read tactics into this, but I think some of them might have benefited from seeing that one. Right, Petra's out. She was my co-commentator last night here in the box with me for the men's final. Always great to have Petra's insights. Not only is she a past Boulder world champion, she's a ice climbing world champion, which is pretty incredible. Multi-talented, disciplined actor. Actor?
11th lead at the qualifiers of the vault.
Right, left foot on the volume. Straight away, straight in for Petra. Staying quite high though on this hold.
World Cup in Wujiang.
Wraps those fingers around. Now she eyes up the final hold for that zone. Right at the top of that volume. There's a corner there, it's hard to crimp, there's a little line. She goes for the traditional right and left palm.
There comes the applause from the crowd.
And that's the zone line you can see on the screen. That points to the yellow hold, that's the zone. And there's the top, again, indicated with a sticker and a pink line to the final hold. It's two hands on this. You have to show control. She has a minute. This is her first go at this. Impressive stuff from Petra, and she is in. So the Swiss athlete gets it done. Nice and fast for her. And in conditions like this, when it is as hot as it is, getting a boulder done within that first 2 minutes is pretty important. Next up, Julia Kruder from Slovenia. Her and her brother won the Red Bull dual ascent race up a ginormous dam, if ginormous is a word, in Switzerland recently. So she's certainly got some endurance, but I have to wait to see what her boulder fitness is like as she starts this slab. A bit taller than the other athletes, this move might be awkward for her. She did well to hold that left sloper and peer around the corner. She can't hold the slap into the volume though. And for people who are new to climbing, just because a climbing hold is big, like those on the stage, it doesn't mean they're good. Often the friction could be terrible. They could be turned the wrong way. These athletes are on the world's best, the elite. It's hard to describe to you guys how hard these climbs really are. Julia is making it look easy, squatting down as she brings that right hand through. And that's the corner again, that down shot from the top of the wall showing. It's hard to see from a back angle. From that angle, it's brilliant because you realise just how awkward it is to get around it. And she's kind of stuck on this corner at the moment. It's blind because of it. She can't see that left foot. She's got to creep it on. There it is. Really struggling to get into this position. Just all of her limbs ahead, just getting in the way.
Still 35 seconds left. Let's give it some.
She's got 35 seconds, and she hasn't unlocked this yet. She'll want to just make progress before going back and having a rethink.
Come on, Julia.
Unless she now gets it done, which she might do. She's heard me. So, left on the initial jib. Works her feet up. Needs to figure this sequence out. Straight away with the left, but it slips a little. she's looking to cross that right hand all the way through towards the yellow sloper. So now she's almost around the corner. 4 seconds. It is progress from Julia. And that's the zone. And we'll have to wait to see on that one. I don't think she will be awarded it. She wasn't
Give a big round of applause.
really doing anything apart from falling when she latched it.
A full house for the semi-finals.
Pretty sure the judges won't allow that, but we'll get to check out the scores later on. And now we flip back to our first climber. Agatha, she didn't get it done in round 1, the first 2 minutes. That means she gets a second 2 minutes in order to unlock this boulder. After that, though, it is done for her on boulder 1.
And we'll go back to France. Bonjour, bonjour.
Sorry, I made a mistake there. That's Selma. Apologies for that. Clearly the desert heat has got to me as well. So, Agatha's teammate, Selma from France, is on stage. All right, let's see what she can make of this boulder. Left foot up onto the jib, as normal. Creeps that left hand over. There's a good shot to show how slopey that hold is. Small adjustments. She makes sure of the left foot. And she goes all the way through to that black volume. I think that is the better way to do it, rather than matching that yellow hold around the corner. Creeping that right leg, creeping up to try to get some balance, and then has to snap it around the corner in order to lock off that zone hold. Nothing for the feet here, apart from that black sloper. It's not a bad hold, and at this point, you'd back her to get this. Creeping towards the top, one hand is on. Wants to get some kind of a toe in a position. I think she'll put that left foot out left, which she does, in order to steady the balance. And a quick send just under the minute mark from Selma.
Merci beaucoup.
So, quick sends from a lot of women on boulder number 1.
And the first round, 5 tops from 8 athletes.
As Selma leaves. Oh, that's a cool shot through that hole. Go on, Mr. Drone Pilot. We get to check out the scores. Katja leading the way. Jenya, Camilla, all flashing. Oh, Petra as well. Down to Selma. Everyone with a flash there, so can't be separated at the moment. And then Georgia, Agatha, and Julia will be going next, so they'll have another 2 minutes on boulder number 1. The yellow box you can see in the center of your screen, that fills all the way up if an athlete gets to the top, and it goes halfway if they get a zone. All right, Agatha is now out.
Second 2 minutes.
She's got a second 2 minutes on the clock. And she will have learned from her experiences before. She'll have chatted to the other athletes, maybe rewatched a video or two, just to start having an understanding where she went wrong last time, what she can improve for this second 2 minutes. There's the zone, hits it. And it's that arc of her legs coming over to the left that's pulling her off the wall. Barn dooring, we call it in climbing. And if you imagine a door on a barn, that's a different way of describing a barn. But you imagine a big heavy door opening, and it's hard to stop the momentum of that door as it swings. It's similar in climbing. It's hard to stop your body swinging, and that's what she's struggling with at the moment. Agatha adjusting on the sloper. The other 2 athletes who didn't do it are now on the mats as well, watching this. Gritted teeth as she makes the match, but the minute mark is gone, and this time she holds that barn door. And now we've seen no one really drop it from here. She needs to keep calm, slow that heart rate down, not panic. She knows how close she is. She's got the left foot down now, creeps the left hand out, just needs a match. She does with the toes on the volume. Good work from Agatha. Right, well, with 30 seconds to go, that was a good fight. She leaves the heat backstage. And quickly we're beginning to realise how important it is to send boulder number 1. Hard ones to come, very physical climbs to come as well. So if there's one that's doable, the athletes start to realise that it's important. Okay. Georgia Tessio runs out. Her second 2 minutes is on the board.
Georgia Tessio with her second 2 minutes.
The buzzer goes.
After receiving the zone.
Takes another chance to check around that corner before going on the right. And you can really see for that shot how much the athletes have to traverse. Go towards the left on this boulder. Small adjustments with the feet. Still blind, she's missed it this time, drops down in order to see around that corner and make sure of that left foot screwed into that hole you can see. Much, much better
There we go.
from her straight into the zone. Little swing with the legs and managed to hold it. This is impressive stuff as she works those feet across. Left toe on. One move away now. And a nice inside flag with that right foot in order to steady herself and make the top. Good work from Georgia. We talked about pressure at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you can see it in action there. And climbers ascending in the first 2 minutes, you know you need to come back strong, and she certainly did that. All right, Katja Debowitz will be out next, and we get to see boulder number 2 for the first time. There she is, waiting in the shadow. Comes out into the sun with a blink of the eyes. And we change up styles here. So from slow, gentle padding across volumes, we have some powerful, pressy moves coming up. Starting with a swing. So jump up towards that black volume there. Touch her feet up because there's 4 lines on the big blue space ball. So you have to start touching that. And then this swing begins. And it's hard to generate momentum as she did there without something to kick off. So lots of core involved, but she's managed to get the legs in. And now the pressing begins. Shoulders in action. And pretty much for the only time until the sun changes, she's in the shade right now. So if I was her, I'd be hanging out there for a bit. All right, looking for the wrap. No jibs, no crimps on that. Just pure friction required. So she needs to adjust the feet first, get herself into a better place. And out on the right, and that right foot is down onto the jib now. Good flexibility across the corner. Her whole body's being pushed back. It's pretty overhanging up there. And it makes it so awkward because not only can you not see properly, but your back, your core is screaming. Trying to use her face almost on that hold, anything, which she's done so well. This is great from Katja. What a start to her comp. Straight into the zone, and she's trying to crimp the screw hold on the volume. But she needs to set herself up for this pop towards the top. It's a jump. Touched it, but it wasn't enough to hold on. And now we see this interesting thing where she's got the zone, she's only got 30 seconds left, and she might call it a day here because whereas normally athletes would sit and wait for maybe 30 seconds then go again, because of the 2 times, if you wait for 30 seconds, it runs out. With 15 seconds to go, she is going to leave. Spent her time just making sure she knew the top sequence for a second go. Katja leaves the stage. So yeah, that's the difference, or the big difference I'm noticing at the moment between the comps is that the athletes are out of there a bit quicker. So Genya is in the middle, and on the left of her you can see that speed wall that stretches upwards. Our speed comp kicking off tomorrow evening.
The wall, Kazbekova, Ukraine.
Evgenia Kazbekova likes to be called Genya, and that's what we will be calling her this afternoon. So Genya turns to face the wall. Boulder number 2 after a flash of that slab, as we'd expect from her.
27 years of age. Here we go.
Right, she's underway. 2 feet up as before. Now, either needs to hit this move statically or generate a bit of a swing as she kicks out towards the right. Big kick with the left foot as well in order to stand into that position. It may look like she's just sort of hanging there, but trust me, the amount of tension, body tension required to be in that position. She's underclinging the space ball as well with the right hand. You can see there, right underneath, pressing with the palm. Choosing to drop very low in order to get around it. And then the volume kind of is cut, as you can see. There's a line on it, so it will allow the athletes to jump up towards the top. Up she goes, had one hand wrapped over the top of it, but couldn't hold the crimp.
Still a minute left.
She's got a minute left. It was a quick send of that opening sequence. Very confident through there. So with a minute, she'll have another opportunity to go here. Genya stands in the sun for a second, trying to rest. Especially that push move at the beginning does take a lot out of the shoulders.
Here we go.
Genya back on once more. Kicks out left, presses with the shoulder. She's so smooth through the opening sequence of moves. Wearing some pretty soft shoes out there. That's what we'll see a lot of athletes do. Stiff shoes, soft shoes. Genya She's using some soft ones. She's one move away. She got close to this jump. She's got less than 10 seconds. She was lower than before. And a big fall down from the top. Well, good work from Jenya. Progress. You should be pleased with that one. It's got that extra 2 minutes, of course, to come. All right, well, the music starts again as we get ramped up and ready. Camilla Moroni emerges into the sun. Every athlete does that thing. I think I'd bring sunglasses on, put them on the side. Certainly a big difference from the shadows into this brightness of the desert. You're just turning on and wondering where on earth we are. Well, we're in Saudi Arabia for the NEOM Beach Games. This is the women's semi-final. 8 athletes competing. We're trying to find just 6 for the finals. So Camilla starts her journey to the right, horizontal on the wall. A little bit shorter, and you can see the difference that makes in terms of how stretched out she has to be.
Arm span of 161.
Works those feet up onto the black volumes, into the space balls. Quick work from Camilla Moroni at the moment. Reaches around, a couple of adjustments. We saw Jenya drop really low on that zone. Camilla's just trying to make sure of the feet position here. Crowd respond as she drops into a better position. Now she'll be able to set herself up for this jump. She's high on this. She might be able to hit it almost statically. That's what she's trying. She does. Problem is she's got to get her hand up. Nearly lost the feet. Now she hangs and swings. Interesting stuff. Well, first couple of athletes who came out tried the jump on that one, but Camilla was managed to undercling it, stretch her way up towards the top hold, locked it off, lost the feet for just the briefest of seconds before pulling on. Camilla with 2 out of 2. All right, Petra's given the nod. Swiss athlete runs onto the stage. All right, turns and faces the wall. Business time for Petra Klingler. Hits the first hold easily outright, keeping that left hand smearing against the wall. There it is, palming down, and then she grabs her own foot. That is a legit climbing tactic, trust me. If you can't stretch it, next time you're in the local gym, try picking up your own foot. It genuinely works. Looks bizarre. And that's the left foot that she placed manually into position. Now drops it down. Her face in the shadows, dropping in and out of the light here as she starts the palming movement. Slaps those hands up. Now, we saw Camilla span this. I think Petra's going to try the same thing. Watch the feet, though, because you've got to be careful. She makes the match. Brilliant from Petra, and I tell you what, that's fascinating. So now we get to see this 2-minute thing in action, because the other athletes will get a chance to see that and might see that the stretch instead of the jump is the way to go.
All right.
Game of chess is climbing, I tell you. Julia Kruder.
Let's give a big round of applause to
She's
Julia
out.
Kruder back into.
Now, she's back on boulder number 1, remember. She couldn't get it done in her first 2 minutes. We go through the rotation of athletes, and when it's their turn to climb, they go back to the boulder that they've yet to do. So Julia is on number 1.
Just the only person still to
The only one not to have topped this. She needs it in order to stay in touch with our leaders. Stretching all the way towards the zone, and look at the adjustments she's made backstage. But still awkward, still scrunched up here. Drops the left foot down. One move away, hits it with the left. We'd expect her not to drop it from here. Inside flag, gets the top. And a big smile on her face. Well, that's it, everyone climbing boulder number 1. And now, finally, we say goodbye to that boulder. We can turn our focus and attention to the rest of the 3.
Here in the semi-finals.
There is Selma waiting in the wings.
NEOM, the Masters NEOM 2023, and the female semi-final here on the
Buzz goes, she turns into the shadows and has a moment to refamiliarise herself with these holds.
Selma.
Easy running jump up to that black slope, but makes the touch in the match. She's, because of that height difference, needs to make a little bit of a swing, so generated that with those legs. Palming down on that black hold, gets the foot involved as well. That's where we saw Petra picking up her own foot and placing it in. This is really where it gets awkward. It's in the corner. The angle means you're being pushed backwards. You can't see anything. Drops the left foot down now, into the palms. I think Selma's setting herself up at that moment to potentially jump instead of spanning it, although now she's rotating that body around. That red jib is all she has to stand on for this move. She's trying to get as high as possible, really struggling with that left arm. 50 seconds to go. Kind of in between minds, I think. Got close enough to static it, and had a bit too much of a wild pop in the end. Yeah, Selma, only 19, is trying to make inroads into this French team. Her teammate Oriane Berton qualified for the Olympics in Laval. What a comp that was, eh? There's many potential Olympians within this French team. So again, these kind of a competitions are just an opportunity for the athletes to show the selectors what they're made of. So although it's all fun and games, there's a serious side of this in terms of the athletes' future career prospects. Drops that left foot down, in underneath. 4 seconds to go though, it's not going to be enough. And she will have to have a rethink backstage.
On the second quarter. Thank you, Selma.
So Selma goes. We get to check out the desert and the scoreboard. Camila Moroni leading the way with 2 out of 2 in just 2 attempts, so 2 flashes for her, as is Petra and Katja. Genya, 1 attempt more with 3, drops down to 3rd, or joint 3rd at the moment. Selma as well, things are tight as you can see. So Julia and Agatha in the danger zone at the moment, but they haven't tried boulder number 2 yet. So that gives you an idea of the scores, but bear in mind that we're a bit all over the place in knowing who's actually where because of this double 2-minute rule. So Agatha is back on into boulder number 2. Got boulder number 1 done on her 2nd go of asking. Struggling to get the distance on the swing. Had to do that a few times. That would have burnt a little bit more energy than the others. Easily brings that left foot through. Palming and pressing her way in. She's trying to crimp at the very top of the wall. Great shot there to show that left hand in the sunlight. Palming and pressing her way around the corner. The left foot's not really on anything. That's the left hand. You can see the amount of skin she's trying to get on the wall. And that right foot sliding all over the place. The left is on the jib, but she's really struggling and shaking here, trying to wrestle her way through this move. Needs a stable position to jump or to span it. Takes a breath. And no, you could see she just wasn't comfortable. Grabs her back because, as I said, it's always pushing you backwards, and all that pressure, all that weight is on your lower back, and it starts to hurt, as you can see, and she is struggling. I think she might go with 39 seconds. Have a bit of a stretch out backstage.
Off the stage.
Still holding her back as she leaves.
Yeah, we're feeling good.
So she will go back, hopefully get a little bit of treatment on that back and come back in a few minutes. That gone away. All right, Giorgia Tessio is up next. The Italian athlete is waiting. And if you're wondering why some of the athletes aren't wearing team dress, it's because they don't have to, basically. So some of them are choosing to support their sponsors or show off different styles, although others are wearing team kit. So you'll see the French team, for example, they have their team kit on. Just wanted to explain that because it's a bit of a strange one. All right, Giorgia is up. Starts the kick out towards the right. Easy work from her. But then has to drop back down, having got that foot. I'm not sure I think she was called down by the judges there. Yeah, she was. So if the athlete starts in an incorrect position or doesn't show control, they will tell them, and there you can see she really made sure of it that time. And the judge just called her down from the wall. So a bit of a mistake early on and a fall. So an unsettling start to Boulder 2 for Georgia. Up onto the slopers, makes sure of the match with the 2 feet. Kick out to the right and begins this press. Shoulders, and that's better. She flicked her body around, face pointing back down towards the black hold. She want to upgrade that left foot a bit and does now. All right, time to palm those space balls. That left foot now is in a better position. She was just on the blue, which I was a bit worried about, but she changed it onto the edge of the black hold now. Starting to drop her way down, as we've seen before. Strong stuff from her. You can see she wants to bring that left in. That's powerful. She caught that with just 3 fingers and went. Ah, that, I mean, look, we know she's a bit of a power climber, but what we just saw was ridiculous. She was in no way set. Had no right to hold that hold, but somehow pulled it out the bag with an instinctive jump towards the last hold. She caught with just 3 fingers. Good stuff from her. Right, well, she will leave with a quick send. Katja will run back onto the mats. She's currently up at the top of our leaderboard.
Slovenia. And Katja Debivek from Ljubljana, 28 years of age.
Right, jumping back onto the wall.
Already had the zone.
Starts this swing. Remember, this is her second time through this boulder. She got the zone before. Looking for a top. Drills that foot in, palm up high. Drops the right foot onto the jib, makes sure of it, using the edge of her climbing shoes and palming into the sunlight on that space ball. That's the right foot. Not a lot to go on. That little shake isn't great either. You want to be as still as possible. We call it disco leg sometimes. Elvis leg. It's just a bit of a tremor. Not what you want when you're standing on something tiny. Standing up, though, and it is a fall for her, nearing the top. She just can't seem to be stuck again in 2 minds. You jump, do you go static? So many options depending on your height. And your style, of course, as well. And we saw Georgia just launch for the top and get those fingers on it. So if you have the power, that's possible too. Outright, starts this push up again. Completely horizontal in the wall, flicking that left foot up in the air. She's just trying to, I'm not actually sure what she's trying to do. She was trying, I think, to bring that foot through in a kick, but it was very awkward. Kind of got stuck in that position, and I think she might be done on that one, yeah. Well, I think every athlete who's come on has had some kind of a scrape and a bruise. She grabs her head, grabs her finger. It is brutal, this sport.
How's our cheering doing? Are we doing okay? Let's take my earphones out.
So Katja will leave without a top on that boulder, but the zone will be important.
That's all over here. What about this side? You guys on this side. 3, 2, 1.
And the crowd here in the desert, fairly small for the semi-final, but later on for the final is going to be packed. And the people who are here creating a brilliant atmosphere with all the speed climbers watching.
Kazbekova, Ukraine.
Genya is back on.
27 years of age.
Makes the match and then starts to wrestle over, forearms against that black hold as she presses up. So smooth from her.
From this athlete here in the semi-final.
That's the left foot that she needs to get over towards the right. We saw her launch a couple of times up towards the last hold. I'd be interested to see if she talked to anyone. We'll try it more statically. That's our top-down shot, and then over on the right you can see the wrestle that you have to do and the angle that her body's being pushed back. Imagine just sitting down, all the weight on your lower back there. Well, she goes for the jump, but can't hold the crimper once again. And this is where the frustration starts to kick in a bit. You saw her run back to the chalk bag. She's come so close, what, 3 times now? Needs to convert this into a top.
2 minutes for each athlete as opposed to 4.
Got that quick send on the slab.
Do you like this format with 2 minutes, guys?
When I say send, by the way, that's a very outdoorsy thing to say, but it's climbing the boulder, basically. But I'm going to introduce you to some lingo as well if you're new to this sport. You'll have to learn it sometime. So, Genya, again underneath, same method as before, but keep an eye on the time, 28 seconds. Once she's made these adjustments, she's not going to be left with much time to get this jump done. But more confident now as she gets the right hand up. 18 on the clock. It's the jump, you could just tell the pop wasn't quite in it. She looks up towards the cloudless sky and will leave us.
See you again shortly.
So no set for Genya. Camilla Moroni is waiting. There she is in the centre of your screen, standing in the shadowy bit of the backstage area. Now into the light.
And here we go, now on to Boulder 3 for Camilla.
We get to see
Italy.
Boulder number 3 now. So, power moves.
Yeah. Our first.
And we're about to introduce our co-commentator to the proceedings as well. He's coming and sitting down next to me right now. But for the time being, we'll just watch here as Camilla starts into the pinches. Big swing around for her, gets herself set. There's the zone hold, needs to go out towards the pinch. I did ask whether you can go direct up towards the zone, but it's not possible, according to the setters anyway. And you can kind of see why, it's a long way, and Camilla has to do a big swing out towards the crimp. Now matches it with both hands. And this is where things are awkward again for her. Needs to make the match and commit over to the left. That left thumb pressing against the blocked bolt hold. There it is, that's blocked on purpose so the athletes can't put their thumb into it. Up towards the top, this is a great climb from Camilla. We know she loves the power moves, but she's got one more to do, and there she is, and she's in. And this is a good time to introduce my co-commentator. Michael, how are you doing this afternoon?
Hello, I'm good. It's happy to be on.
It is a pleasure to have you, sir. Well, listen, tell us a bit about you before we get going, because you are technically a speed climber.
Yes, so I'm by background a speed climber. Of course, I've done a good amount of bouldering and lead climbing in my career, but primarily a speed climber.
Awesome. Well, you'll be in action on that speed wall later tomorrow afternoon. You guys have been practicing for the last couple of days. Is it feeling good, that wall?
Yes, the wall's been amazing so far. It's a little bit slick for some of the climbers doing their smears, but the weather's amazing, and we've gotten to try some of the boulders, and it's been a fun event so far.
Awesome. Well, let's watch Petra Klingler get involved in boulder number 3, shall we? And Michael, for me, this is again a kind of a Petra-style boulder. Very, very powerful.
Yeah, and I think that exactly. She's former bouldering world champion, and every single time when there's a power, when there's a pinch move, she can really eat it up, and she's amazing at it.
Yeah, she can. She's got power to spare. Well, she gets the heel in, statically rocks up, really commits to that left heel.
And it's always amazing to watch because she has so much power. She can hold positions for so long and just stick in them, and it's amazing to watch her style. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. Well, she is underneath into this match on the zone now. And there's dual tech surface, so the bit which is shining in the light has no friction, and the bit which has chalk or keeps the chalk, that's got some friction. That's what she's got to be careful with the feet. Last move for Petra, big swing. We saw Camilla go a bit more slowly up to that move.
Which is interesting because that's usually Petra's style. Usually, 9 times out of 10, she will static, more dynamic moves, and that's her main play, quite frankly. That is her main strength, is staticking these really, really typically dynamic moves.
So it might be something she adjusts on her second go here, because Camilla certainly made it look a bit cleaner, that final sequence. Ooh, but a foot pop. It's just one of those things, isn't it? Sometimes you just have to accept those.
Especially as the wall gets hotter in the sun, and with the black wall, it gets very warm very quickly.
Yes, the black wall was an interesting decision.
For sure.
All right, out towards the right with the pinch. She'll creep her way up with that left heel in, commits to it. Hits it, shoulders in action here. Still looks fresh though, isn't fighting for every move. Oh, but as I said that.
All right, round of applause.
And it's really
for
exciting because obviously she's
Rachel.
in good spirits. This competition's a fun competition for all of the athletes. It's been an amazing time staying in the village, and you can see that she really just enjoyed the process of trying that climb.
Yeah, you spent a lot of time with her over the last couple of days. I've seen you guys talking. How is she feeling at the moment?
Yeah, I think that for her, this is an exciting sort of event. Obviously, it's been a long season, so I think she's a little bit tired from so much competing, but she's also excited to be here. I think we're all here because we love the sport and are passionate about it, and I think that she feels the same way.
Yeah, exactly. I think all these athletes just want to compete. It doesn't matter if they're at the end of the season, they just want to be here.
Exactly. And Saudi Arabia is such a beautiful place. I mean, we've seen shots of it. It's amazing.
It's spectacular, isn't it? Well, Julia Kruder now is on the wall, kicks her way out towards the right, and will begin this press position. Remember, she's got her second 2 minutes on this boulder. Couldn't get it done in the first two. Couldn't get the first one done in the first two either, so she's done a lot of climbing at the moment.
And especially in this weather, it gets hard on the skin, hard on the muscles.
Yeah, there are no athletes watching right now. They're all hiding backstage somewhere. Very different from the men's, where cloudier conditions, we saw them all on stage.
Masters NEOM 2023.
Oh, she's coming back and forth here. Can't get the position with that right hand currently.
And it's really interesting because it is such an uncomfortable position trying to hold that.
Sorry, I did make a mistake there. I've got lost in my own boulders. This is her first go on boulder 2, apologies. So this is her first 2 minutes, and then she'll have another 2 minutes after this. Bit of a shrug of the shoulders there. You can see she's pretty heavily strapped on those left shoulders. She was, as I said earlier, jumping around a giant dam in Switzerland a couple of weeks ago, so hopefully that won't have made too much of a difference.
So was Petra, though, and you saw Petra.
Very true, yeah, very true. So recovery clearly is okay. She's up and underneath, kicks that left foot over. Now that box that she is sitting in is, and we call it a box in climbing, you have to fit yourself into a space, and because of that angle, because of how overhanging it is, it's just awkward, we can see. And with long legs like Julia has, that can be hard to fit in there.
Especially that boulder with the taller athletes, I think even the following moves get more challenging the taller you are, and so it's definitely impressive how far she made it as a taller athlete.
Yeah, the height debate is always interesting, isn't it? Because it doesn't make it an advantage or a disadvantage, but it changes certain climbs to how you do them.
Yeah, and it depends on the climb so much too. I think there are certain climbs that maybe you do a different style and it helps if you're taller, and certain climbs, of course, where if you're shorter, you can fit in a smaller box. Makes it more exciting. That's fun climbing.
Yeah, I agree. It's nothing to do with the size of your body or how big your muscles are. Often it's just a case of figuring things out, although strong fingers do help. All right, Selma is up into the first couple of moves, starts her swing. And starts this press.
And her being one of the youngest and shortest athletes, it's going to be interesting if she's going to be able to get through this, especially the last move coming from the zone.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about fitting into that box. It might be an advantage in this section, but up to the top, yeah, it could be tricky for her. So she's dropping down now. That's the angle. We can see the corner there as well to show how extreme that angle is. And her right hand is on nothing, remember. Oh, lost the feet there, but caught it with the left palm. Committing to that jib, but not quite. Bit of a footwork issue from her so far.
And those little foot slips take so much energy to recover from. So it's impressive when athletes are able to stay on the wall, but also at what cost?
Yeah, you're right, because if you slip, you sort of have to grab it, your whole body tenses up and you have to make a snatch movement, and that does burn you out a bit. And also your heart rate spikes, you're suddenly nervous up there on the wall. It's not cool, calm and collected flow state. Selma will go again regardless. 39 seconds on the clock of this round, first 2 minutes. Right hand palming up against. And that wall has, throughout this competition, changed from shadow into the sun. So even that small space is now unprotected.
And you have to imagine too, especially as the athletes are looking at the top hold from the zone, if the sun is shining in their eyes, potentially making that reach a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, good point, yeah. That. All right, 10 seconds to go on this round. She's hit it with the right, commits, and that is a great send, a buzzer beater moment for her. Awesome top. Selma gets it done.
And you can see that that just aids in her confidence going to the next boulder. I think that you can see she's happy, she's smiling. I think she's excited about it.
Well, let's have a look at the scores. Camilla Moroni still leads the way. That's 3 out of 3 for her. Petra Klinger close behind though. 2 tops and a zone. Selma with those 2 tops. Georgia Desio, Katja Debovic, Jenya Kazbekova, Agatha and Julia after that. Julia Kruder a little out of touch at the moment, needs to get more points on the board in the next couple of boulders if she wants to stay up there. Remember, we lose 2 climbers, just 6 move through to the final.
Top of the page, back to France and Garth Gallier.
All right, Team France is on again. Agatha on boulder number 2. That run and jump, big run and jump start.
Again, her being one of the shorter climbers, I'm really interested to see how that changes the dynamic in that final movement.
Yeah, it's not easy to run on the mats as well. I'm always amazed when you athletes can do that because it's a bit like running on sand. It kind of sinks down as you do it.
Had a good bit of experience with that in the desert here.
Yes, true. You can go practice out there. All right, well, she's going now into this iron cross style press as she drops that left foot down. And imagine those shoulder muscles screaming as she comes up underneath. French team going crazy. I don't know if you can hear that, but they are full encouragement. Hits the top, makes the match. And there we go. We see once more adjustments being made and a quick second 2 minutes.
And that's the exciting part about this format, is the fact that athletes can make those adjustments, especially watching the other competitors climb. They can sort of see what's been done and change how they're reacting based off of that.
Yeah, and don't worry if you're watching this thinking the whole IFSC is about to change. It's not. It's just we're trying something different out here in the desert, and why not? I mean, look at it. We're going to try something different. We might as well do it here.
And I will say the athletes are so excited to try this new format. I think it's so much fun to do something different because you are used to this World Cup format that's standard. It's exciting to have a new, interesting experience.
Yeah, mixes things up. All right, well, back to boulder number 3. Georgia is on. All right, we'll need to unhook that left toe, just holds the swing. It's like a Jedi trick there. She was reaching out towards it with the left hand when I get it closer to her.
Yeah, and we had an opportunity to try some of these boulders, and you'd be surprised at the challenge with some of the holds. Some of these holds are much worse than they look on camera and from afar. They are dual techs, which means that they're challenging to grab on certain portions, and it's really impressive to be able to hold things like that.
Yeah, truly. And she's going to have to launch here towards the top hold. We've seen static waves, we've seen big jumps. Georgia is going to static it through, but she needs to match, brings a high right foot. She's kind of pinching the feet underneath. Good work from her. Smiles all around here in the desert. So tell us a little bit about where we're staying, Michael, because it's not normal, is it?
No, it's an amazing village that they've set up on the side of this mountain, the NEOM Mountain Village Games village, and it's been incredible as we all live in tents currently. And there's food catered, it's in this amazing desert, it's quite spectacular.
Yeah, it is, and we're seeing shots of it from our drone there, which is high above the highest mountains, looking down on us. In the shadows of your shot, that's where the tent's up. And it's been a lovely atmosphere as the athletes gather together, everyone eats together. There's parties by the fire late into the night, so it's pretty special. All right, Katja on the power boulder. I said she might have a small shoulder tweak coming into this, so a boulder like this is going to be tricky for her perhaps, but she's so strong I wouldn't expect it to hold her back. Flings out towards the right onto the pinches, upgrades into that heel. Just that left hand. Now double underclings, she tries to sort the feet out. Slow and steady from her so far. This is good work. Big launch, holds it with a huge barn door. Somehow she manages to pull back. Want that left foot involved. She wants it. Oh, she's going for the right drop knee. Interesting. Now changes and makes an adjustment. She wants to put a left foot where her left hand is. Just so awkward to do that.
And we saw other athletes in that section do the foot pinch, the foot matching, which works pretty well for them, but it will be interesting to see if she can figure that out because she has been able to watch them, right?
Yeah, she has, although she hasn't been watching them. And that's what we were saying earlier, because I think because of this sun, they're not choosing to. which is interesting because the guys yesterday were all on the stage.
That being said, they also set up a live stream in the back of the warm-up area, which has been sort of, a lot of them have been crowding around this little screen in the warm-up area, which I think, again, maybe it's not as good of a view as if you are out here.
Sure, but with these conditions today, it's necessary for sure. Right, there we go. Mystery solved. They're in air conditioning somewhere. How dare they?
Exactly. I know. It's.
Well, Katja can't work out that top sequence. I think it sapped some power the first time she was through it, but she'll go away, have a reset. And Genya is next as we move through these boulders and these athletes. There she is in the blue in the middle of your screen. And that tower behind. And a lot of people have been messaging me asking why we aren't climbing on the real rock behind. Well, there's a couple of reasons why. Number one, it's incredibly crumbly. They've warned us not to scramble, although I know some people have been, and possibly me included. And it is very difficult. You don't want to be rock climbing on that thing, so you can't put any protection in. But we are being taken to a rock climbing crag on Friday, so that's the reason for those who have been asking. So, Genya, she begins the power boulder. Unlocks easy into that shoulder move, holds with the right arm towards the pinch, has a heel in now, big rock over for Genya. Makes the match. And the wind suddenly picking up here in the desert stadium, which has brung a little bit of relief in terms of the heat. And the dust is swirling around us here in the commentary box. Genya is one move away. Reaches all the way through. What an angle from our drone overhead. Latches with the right. One more. And a head back in celebration.
It was interesting with that climb. You could see again, she did that foot pinch, which is a really interesting movement. It's rare in World Cups. I feel like you don't see that type of technical climbing that much nowadays.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. We see a lot of bicycles, things like that, but that kind of a pinch, yeah, is unusual. And I know the setters have been enjoying playing with new moves out here.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because they have one of the local setters as well joining in the setting, which has been an amazing opportunity for Saudi Arabian climbing to experience what a World Cup is like and what World Cup setting is like.
Yeah, for sure. All right, final boulder. Yes, final boulder. Camilla Moroni on the reds. Now, yesterday evening we saw the men's boulder have probably a little step too far in terms of how long it was, so the setters have tweaked things for the women's round. It was just a bit much in this current format. But this boulder is still powerful, and through the steepest part of the wall as well. She will be enjoying this though. Right toe hook locked in, as you can see. Releases it and catches the next pinch, but pops her foot once more, and that's going to be costing her. Hits the zone hold now. I think she'll be awarded points on that. She has moved. Yeah, there we go. Out towards the right, so a quick zone for her. Crimps to come. And after all that, she'd be disappointed not to get it here, but there's a big jump move to come at the top. I'll forget the jump, she just statics it, stretches up into the side pull, makes the match, and that is a quick send.
It's 4 out of 4.
Well, Camilla Moroni will have booked herself a place in the finals with that one. 4 out of 4, great work from her.
The winner of the semi-final.
Yeah, and especially coming off of Laval, I think that she's really excited. She had a really good performance for herself in Laval. She's feeling good right now in this season.
Yeah, and she's been doing a lot of different types of climbing. I keep seeing pictures of her on big walls and multi-pitch routes, so it seems to be branching out into lots of different things.
Which I think climbers love climbing, and I think that any form of climbing like that is exciting, and I think having good energy always works well, so I think that she's clearly benefiting from that.
Yeah, so enjoying her climbing at the moment, finishing off her season well with 4 out of 4. We'll see her tonight. Petra on boulder number 3. Now, she fell off the top of this before. Would she have made those adjustments? We're expecting her to get this done, really. Right shoulder move out, as usual. Hits the big pinch with the right hand, immediately flicks into that heel hook, up towards the crib. Makes the match, but it's from here, really, where the difficulty ramps up on this climb. Has the match underneath. Left thumb, remember, isn't on a jib, it's just on a screw blocker. There it is. It will have a little bit of friction, but not enough to hold on to. It's not like the setters have screwed something on there. All right, one move away from Petra. She needs to either sort the feet or unleash beast mode. She just unleashes beast mode. Swinging around, she needs to make the match, but that's the problem, isn't it? You're just hanging in space.
And I mean, that's usually where she thrives, right? She's such a powerful climber, but I think that this one, especially with the heat, and I think it's been a long season for her, I think on the next attempt we'll see her make some moves.
Yeah, we should. I think she just needs to commit to it as well. You know, she knows the sequences now. We just want to launch for it. But yeah, the power just to hold that swing, it's hard to understand it, but trust me, she's going to be burning out up there. Right, a couple of moves to go before to get there. There's the zone. Just the hands, drops underneath, thumbs in action as well underneath. And now this is it. This is where she hesitated before. She doesn't this time, just launches, holds the swing but can't hold the pinch.
And again, those holds are just so bad. When we were trying them earlier today, you'd be shocked at how poor those holds are.
Yeah. And how did you get any of these done?
No, so it was way harder than you'd expect. And as a speed climber, I dabble in bouldering, but it's truly not my specialty.
Sounds like climbers' excuses there. I mean.
And the men were trying, and even some of the men boulderers were struggling on some of the women's problems. So I think they might have tweaked them after to make them a little bit easier, but I think that it's definitely a high level of climbing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's probably quite a good sort of citer for the setters to have everyone try them so you can have a look and work out any mistakes early on. Right, Julia is still on boulder number 2. Up she goes again. Really struggled to make the pop onto the top hold here. As per usual, into the corner, but this is where it started to unravel for her in the first 2 minutes. Awkward to fit into that shape. Position you need to be in. You can see there the left hand, the thumb is just on the edge between the volume and the wall. You do see sometimes athletes crimping that just with their nails. Luckily not required for this, I don't think. Right, she's underneath, slaps those hands, trying to get friction on. One big move required. She's gonna span it out, but she can't hold that swing. And that face said it all, just pure frustration from her.
1 more minute.
The thing is, Michael, like, when you know you're that close, you just want to get to the top again. You've got to climb the whole of the boulder before you get there.
And especially in this heat, it's tiring. Every attempt takes so much energy, and so it's impressive to see them continue to go, but also the format lends itself with a longer rest in between attempts. So it's a little bit of a two-sided coin.
Yeah, a bit of give and take, isn't it? You kind of lose some things. But that frustration, I think you were right, is as much about the fact that she has to carry on climbing than the fact she can't do the boulder. Right, left foot up. She's so quick through here, cruisy. And it changes everything having this timer on. One of the things I say a lot, but do go and try it if you haven't before. Go to your local gym, find a boulder that's hard for you and give it a go with a time limit. You'll find everything gets way more stressful. And Julia is done, so no send of boulder number 2.
Nice round of applause from our audience as Julia makes her way off stage. Good afternoon, everybody here. Good to have you here.
Right, Julia leaves, and we rotate again.
IFSC Masters 2023.
Selma, our last athlete of the 8 out.
Selma waits in the gate.
Right in the centre of your screen there. And everything is lit up. If you want to see this place look very different, please come back tonight, 7 p.m. Saudi Arabian time, and we have a bit of a light show that happens on those towering walls behind us.
The whole setup has been so amazing with the lighting and the rock face behind it being completely projected. It's quite amazing.
It really is. Come and watch tonight. Our drone will be flying around showing you all of the action. Right, holds the swing. As we'd expect, easy through here. Well, you have to focus. We've seen a couple drop it down low. Hits the zone hold with the left hand. Onto that undercling again. Smooth stuff so far from her. Hits the pinch, holds it. That's where Petra struggled. Selma a bit more grip power. That's strong stuff, isn't it?
Quite impressive, especially again, those holds are way worse than you'd expect them to be. So really impressive to be able to stick that.
Yeah, your face just sort of, your mouth dropped there as she grabbed that hold. It was a very, very strong move in order to hold those pinches.
But she's such a strong climber, and the fact that she's the youngest here and has has so much more potential. It's incredible. It's exciting to see what it's going to end up turning out.
I'm jealous. I hate the youth. All those talented climbers. Well, Camilla Moroni is leading the way, but in the danger zone, look down the bottom. Katja Debovitz and Julia Kruder, they are the ones in trouble at the moment. Agatha only just ahead, but 2 tops. So both Katja and Julia really need to pull something out here. They have the time to do it. Things might flick around still, but they're the ones we need to keep an eye on at the moment. Camilla safe at the top with those 4. Agatha Callier runs on. She's on boulder number 3.
Problem, boulder number 3.
All right, toes locked in underneath in a toe hook. There's rubber on top of the climber's shoes. That's what they use to make those moves. In fact, there's rubber pretty much everywhere on a modern climbing shoe. Around the heel, on the sole, of course, and over the toes. Good footwork. She gets stood up, whole body taut and tense. She holds the position. Stretches up, but matching it is where the really tricky part is. She's going for the low pinch with her feet. Makes the match quick from her.
They're definitely doing something grip strength-wise in France, because you just saw the 2 French climbers easily top somewhere where so many athletes have struggled an immense amount.
Secret French training camp for pinches. I'd like to see that. All right, Georgia is waiting as Selma leaves. We're having the same format in the finals as the semi-finals with one big change. I'm not going to give away what that change is. If you want to know what the difference is in the finals, you're going to have to come back and join us. But it is, we think this is pressurised. Put it like this, at some point half the field disappear. So that's all I'm going to say. I've given away too much already. So Georgia on number 4. You get to see this once more. Saw Camilla flash it early. How much power have these athletes got after 3 hard climbs in the sun? Bit of a slip down there. Didn't set herself up that well for the move out the left, but she made it work. Into the zone. We'll want to shake out or 2 here before hitting the sloper, but she can't get rest yet. Crimp to come. And now she needs to unlock that left foot, bring it up slowly, and as we saw from Camilla, creeping up towards the top.
Crazy for this.
Right hand locks it off, left hand in. Georgia, good work.
Incredible performance this afternoon.
Brilliant from her. Well, tell us a bit while we have this little bit of a pause. In terms of training out here in the desert, you've been for runs out there?
Yeah, so it's been, again, amazing opportunity. They've been so organized about making sure that there's plenty of training opportunities for us. As speed climbers, pretty much every day we've had as much time on the speed wall as we want. The speed wall is constantly open for the most part because it's in the middle of the desert, and so there's nothing around. And then the boulders have had opportunities to boulder, and there's a whole weight room. It's been great.
I didn't know this. There's a gym back there?
Oh yeah, there's two full weight racks with boxes and dumbbells and everything you could possibly want. And mostly the speed climbers have been using the weight racks, but a lot of the boulders have been stretching and doing other plyometric workouts.
I've been missing out. I know where I'm going after the competition. All right, next up. Pulling back on to boulder number 3, Katja Debovitz. She looks strong early on, couldn't get the pinch though with the feet. Can she make that adjustment now? In underneath.
Slovenians in 7th and 8th place, Katja.
Really quick to get to this point, just 30 seconds gone of the second 2 minutes. Eyes it up, she's going to go for the huge launch. Holds it the first time, nearly loses the left foot. So important to keep that on. Brings up the pinch, needs to make the match. Just.
Yes, there it is.
Just. Thought for a second she was gone.
And the sense of relief that you must have when you slip on a move like that and then stick it, I'm sure there's no better feeling in the world for these athletes.
Yeah, one of those sort of comp 9 lives that you need. Sometimes you need, I mean, it's not luck, but sometimes you just need everything to sort of come together, perhaps.
And that's where you really rely on the training, right? Like that's where the hangboarding and all of that helps, because you have that grip strength to fall back on as the technique starts to fade a little bit.
Yeah, it's worth remembering how much time these guys spend training. I mean, it's hours and hours in the gym in order to get to this stage. And that's just the boulders. I mean, the speed climbers, like the one next to me, they are in a proper gym. Squats, weighted squats, just weighted everything. You guys are hardcore.
It's definitely more like track and field than a lot of the other disciplines of climbing in terms of training.
That's a good way to describe it. Yeah, it is. Well, that comes on Friday. All right. On her final boulder of the afternoon. Let's see if Jenya's got something left in the tank here. We know it's climbable, and we know it's flashable. It's all about this move for me here. If you can get through this, she should be okay. Heels in, that's good. That left heel never moved. It was rock solid. Now she's got the right matching near her fingers. Into the slopers, one move away from the crimp and an ability where at least you could bring your feet up and be in a less of a steep angle. Really quick work from her. And a quick send.
Good job from you, Craig.
But of course, this puts a lot of pressure on everyone else. They know they've got to climb this boulder now.
Well, and that's the cool part about this format, is the ability that the other athletes have to watch their competitors is something that is novel to climbing, and it's exciting to see sort of how athletes change their techniques based on that.
Yeah, I would agree. It's been fascinating. I think I've enjoyed watching them sort of off the climbing as much as on the climbing, just to see how they're figuring it out. So Petra is out and about. Just gave us a big smile, saying hello to us in the commentary box. Thank you, Petra. And she was our co-commentator yesterday, so go back and watch the men's finals if you've missed that.
For Switzerland.
And this climb is really her style, so I expect big things from her on this climb.
Hope you haven't cursed her, because she will listen to this and she will come for you. Don't annoy Petra. All right, she goes again. High toe in. It's all about this left heel. Can you make it stick? And currently she doesn't like it. Different method. I mean, obviously she's watched the video. She knows it should be with a heel, but it still allows the athletes to play with beta here.
And it also depends on the shoes that you have, right? Especially in this heat, especially in this weather, as your feet get a little bit sweaty, your shoes sometimes you want to use different parts, and the heel especially suffers from a little bit of moisture in the shoe.
Yeah, it's a good point. You don't want sweat between your skin and your foot. Your foot? I'm Scottish there. Right, she's back on. Has the heel this time. I think she needs to commit to that heel. Dropped it really early though, in order to make that swing.
And now the funny thing was Petra was actually speed climbing with us yesterday, and she was joking about how she didn't want to get too tired. So I hope we didn't tire her too much out with the speed climbing yesterday.
Yeah, she's quite a competitive human being, so I'd imagine she wasn't being slow. She said to me she got sub 10, which is good.
Yes, which is, I mean, it's incredible because she hasn't speed climbed in like 2 years since Paris, or since Tokyo.
Crazy. Well, her coach would probably hate to hear that, so we might have just got her into trouble. Well, she went for the big launch over towards the left there, completely discarded the heel that time. And I wonder why she doesn't like that heel. It's interesting, isn't it? No one else has had a problem with it.
Again, you have to wonder if maybe it's a preference thing, if she's better at toe hooks, or if it is something to do with her shoe and maybe she wants to prioritize her toe over her heel.
Yeah, athletes like certain moves, don't they? I mean, yeah, well, she's committing to the toe, but she's not making progress. 10 seconds, she's going to have a rethink here. I would just go straight backstage. I'd find whoever did it quickly. I'd be like, oi, how did you do that?
But that's the fun part about climbing, is it's still so collaborative, right? I feel like in other sports, maybe people would keep it a little bit of an under wraps, but in climbing, people are still willing to help one another out, and that's the best part about it, quite frankly.
It is something really unique about our sport, and it's something that hasn't been spoiled yet as well. I think one day we might see more competitiveness, and look, they're all competitive, but they'll help each other, as you say. And that community is lovely to see. All right, Julia on boulder number 3.
Slovenia.
She struggled with the pinch as well on the top.
She should go train out in France, clearly.
Yes, true. Apparently we all should. France is the place to be. I live in France. I'm not that good at pinches. I'm doing something wrong. Right, left foot up. Really smooth from Julia so far. Now starting to fight a little bit. She's just got 2 fingers underneath there, making room for the match. Stretches out, just holds it, looking a little tired though as she prepares herself. Never really looked like she was going to make that move. I think Julia just might be struggling here. On boulder number 2, she was clearly frustrated, and it hasn't improved yet for her.
And we were talking about it, this is, for a lot of the athletes, a fun event, right? There's no World Cup points on the line for this. This is just an exciting event to be at. And yet, World Cup athletes love competition and love pushing themselves. And so it's an interesting thing where, even though it's maybe not a super serious event for her, it's still quite important to her that she does her best performance.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was talking about selectors earlier on today, and you know, she comes from a Slovenian team that has so much potential there. A comp like this allows her just to say, look at me, but with 30 seconds, it's not going to be look at me on this one. She has to leave, and that's tricky stuff. Remember, she needed a send really to get up off the bottom spots. So tricky times for Julia. Waiting in the wings is Selma, and then you can see on the bean bags we've got Camilla Moroni and Georgia as well. So both of them are sitting there enjoying the sun for the first time, really. Well, their competition is done. All right, Selma runs on. She heads towards boulder number 4.
Boulder 4.
And there it is, the black wall of our boulder wall. Climbing is generally split into 3 disciplines: boulder, lead, and speed. We haven't got any lead here. Lead is on a rope on about a 15-meter wall. So there's lots to climbing. Your first time watching it, you want to get more involved. There's so much in this sport. Outdoor climbing as well, but we're with plastic right now. And Selma has a minute 30. Out onto the crimps. From here, no one has dropped it. Needs to stand up strong. Just commit to the final move. Makes the match, and it does. Oh, I say it looks straightforward. She wasn't really looking at. Now that's going to be interesting. I don't think that. Is it going to be awarded? She's looking. No, the judges are saying go again.
And as you mentioned earlier, it's so frustrating to fall on the last move, especially on a boulder that long and that powerful, because it takes so much energy to get back to where you fell.
Yeah, especially with something like that where it's a marginal decision. I mean, to me, she wasn't in control, and the judges obviously decided the same thing. But she definitely had that moment where she was cheekily looking at them like, come on.
And I've seen athletes almost sell it in ways. Like sometimes athletes will grab their chalk bag and walk off, and it's like, it depends on sort of how sort of charismatic you want to be about it.
I love it. I love watching a bit of gamesmanship. But sadly, the judge said no, she'll have to go again. And it will be frustrating for her. No one else dropping that last move. 30 seconds on the clock. She'll want to get this done within this first 2 minutes. Will not want to go back and have more time to think about this. Had that top in both hands for a microsecond. Right hand in now. Will she do better adjust? Brings the left in. She'll make sure of this. She's up there for a while just to prove a point. Down she comes.
And that's the other thing too with this format, is if you need to go back behind the warm-up wall, you have time to sort of think about it. From a sports psychology standpoint, it's brutal, right?
You're eating yourself in your own head. It must be so hard.
And that's the thing that I think is so impressive about bouldering, but especially the boulders in this format, because they really are able to keep it together and keep positive even after difficult experience.
Yeah, there's so much they have to go through. Speed climbers as well. I mean, I will talk a lot about how impressive speed climbers are in dealing with pressure later, because you guys are next level, really are. Your whole comp can be done with a full start.
To me, that's the exciting part about it, though, is that it's over, right? Like, I'm always impressed by the boulders because they keep on going, right? If you slip off of a boulder, you need to continue to try hard and stay positive.
Okay, we'll watch that tomorrow. That was the leaderboard. Julia was down at the bottom. She won't progress. She needed that top. And Agatha as well, who's out on stage, she's in the bottom as well, so she needs to do something here with this boulder.
Gallier, France.
So, we begin. Last couple of climbers on our last climb. We will return after this around 7 p.m. Saudi Arabian time. You join us for the final. Minute 46. Everyone cruising the bottom bit apart from Petra so far. That's a good shot of the heel. She turns the toes outwards in order to get as much of that heel pressing down as possible. Makes the match. Crimp to come, and then that stand-up move, which you know is very doable from here. Good edge on that left side one. Look how quick that was from Agatha. We'll have to wait and see. But the bottom of the leaderboard is going to be pretty interesting. She's just having some kind of a discussion. Not sure who the French do have their coach here, so it might have been them. And of course, something which is different with this coach is the coaches can coach during the competition.
Well, that's the exciting part, is it's such a new environment for coaches, it's such a new environment for athletes. That's why it's fun to try new formats every now and then. I think it's a great experience, especially here in NEOM.
Yeah, well, look at NEOM. There it is in Saudi Arabia, in the desert. I wasn't quite expecting it when I drove in and got dropped off, I will be honest, because it's just so bizarre compared to what we're normally at. You know, we're used to little Swiss villages, not mountain deserts.
But that's the thing too, especially with the athlete village, because it's all climbers inside of the athlete village and everyone's so close, it really does create this amazing experience for the athletes all being together.
Yeah, and facility-wise, I mean, I'm sitting here with some dried nuts, I've got water, there's amazing food every single night, you know, showers, toilets, you could want for nothing.
Oh yeah, and I mean, even we're staying in tents, but they're beautiful. They're
Yeah, it's glamping
gorgeous.
in the extreme,
yeah,
isn't it?
Exactly.
I feel a bit guilty, to be honest, saying I'm camping. So a friend sent me a message saying, oh, poor you. I was like, oh, no.
Well, because I remember the days of Arco and everyone used to camp outside of the Arco World Cup, and so it's exciting now.
Well, Katja is on, hits the left hand, adjusts it, and she drops into this first sequence. Big moves out for her, drops those feet down. But that's what Petra was struggling with, is when her feet came down, she couldn't hold it. Katja doing well here, making the match on the slope, but easily hits the crimps. A little micro shake out with that left hand in order to make that move. Stretches up, hits it with the thumbs, makes the match easy. Good work from Katja. Grabs the top of the wall in celebration, and she will come down.
And you have to think that Petra was potentially watching that and seeing how she can do better on the next attempt.
Yeah, because Katja's in 5th with that one. And Petra, where is she now? She's down in 7th. So yes, Petra will need to pull something out of the bag here. And she is waiting to do that.
But it's interesting because Petra flashed the first 2 climbs and then struggled so far on the second 2. So it's interesting whether or not there's an energy deficit there or something that she can be working on.
Yeah, it's a good point. In terms of styles, the first 2 weren't as powerful. So yeah, I think you're right. Well, Petra is on as we zoom towards our wall. There she is, approaching the red holds. She brushes the holds to make sure that all the chalk and dust is off them. As much friction as possible. Petra's on. She needs to pull something out. It needs a top in order to get off that 7th spot position. Creeps the feet down. Again, it's that move, and it doesn't seem like anything's come together back there while she was waiting.
Yeah, no, I was really expecting her to come out and heel hook, but it's an interesting thing that she's sticking with the toe. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I wonder if she's got an injury. It just doesn't fit. I mean, look, we could say about fitting into spaces all the time, and that's something that she just maybe can't. It's not her body shape.
But she's sort of an average, height-wise, she's an average size climber. So you have to wonder if some of the taller climbers have successfully done it and some of the shorter climbers have successfully done it. What is it about the heel that she's veering away from?
Yeah, well, let's look again, as much detail as we can. So now she puts the heel in, but when the heel is there, that was better. Now she just kept it in a little longer.
And that's the exciting part about climbing, is that you can make so many changes along the way, right? You learn as you're on the route, and that's really a novel feature, especially about bouldering, because in the other 2 disciplines, you don't get multiple tries.
Yeah, it's true. You just get to practice, don't you? You practice those moves, learn the positions and the body movement required. But Petra struggling at the moment. She did look better, from our angle at least. Whether she'll know it was a bit better, we don't know. Right toe up. Now she's changed it, goes back for the kick and just can't figure it. Other athletes are scrolling scoreboards on the left of us trying to check the results. Petra is lonely out there with 20 seconds to go. She needs something. This is her moment now. Has to find something.
All right, come on, we're down to the last.
She goes all the way up towards the zone just for some points, but can't get it, won't hold it, and I think that might be out. Currently she is. We're waiting for the scores to be updated, but yeah, that is Petra down at the bottom.
Thank you, Petra.
Yeah, we're just being told that Julia is not having her second go on boulder number 3. So she's going to skip straight to boulder number 4. And that's presumably just because she doesn't feel like she can do boulder number 3. Whereas she might have a crack at boulder number 4, and it might help her score and bump her up above.
Although I'm noticing on the scoreboard, she needs 3 tops in order to move on at this point. And if she skips boulder 3, she won't be able to get.
No, true, really strange. I think either injury or just reality perhaps for her. I'll have to talk to her afterwards. But regardless, she's up and away. That's the heel Petra was struggling with, as does Julia. Both of them just not feeling it.
It's interesting with this format that you can choose to skip attempts on certain boulders. That's something that I guess is a new thing with this format.
Yes, until the judge came up to me just now, I didn't know you could, but yeah, I mean, look, it's the same in the normal format. You could actually leave the stage with 10 seconds gone. You could just decide you don't want to do it. So it's possible, it's just because we have it split, it's more obvious when they're doing it, I think. So, one more time, she goes, minute 13 on the clock. Drops in. This is the move, though, that she cannot unlock currently. That heel doesn't work for her. She's dropped the right toe, and that seemed to help. It did help. So losing the toe hook on the right was an advantage for her. Matches the zone. It's droppable, though, from here. We've seen one person do it.
Well, make some noise for Jill,
Now, if
ladies
she
and
can top here,
gentlemen.
she'll move ahead of
Pushing
Petra.
hard on this one now.
She'll move up to 7th. Let's see. She's close. Stretches. Hits the top with the right. Locks it. Brings in that left. And that is a good top
What a
from
way to
her.
finish.
So, good finish. She sits for a moment exhausted before standing up and acknowledging the crowd. Oh, Julia Kruder is done.
My 8 athletes.
Our final
6 places
athlete
in the final.
of our list will be out next. This is the brushers are cleaning the holds ready for the athletes as we skim through the mountains once again. Just such awesome shots of those. And yes, I know what everyone's saying. As a climber myself, I want to go and climb those things. But and there is the list of athletes.
Just 2 boulders for Julia Kruder from Slovenia.
And there they are sitting, watching and waiting.
And you can see some of the athletes are talking about sort of the beta, and I'm sure that they have some thoughts, especially going into tonight, on what they can improve, especially with this new format.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that is our leaderboard.
There's the current results on the screen for you right now.
Okay, so we've been told that is it. We are done for this one. So that is our top 6. Agatha getting the last place, Julia Kruder and Petra Klinglet getting knocked out of the semi-final stage. That might mean Petra comes and joins me in the commentary box. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully she will anyway. But Camilla Moroni and Selma, super impressive. 4 tops. Camilla especially, just 4 attempts needed. So 4 flashes for her. Clearly the one to beat for this evening. Selma, almost double the amount more, but that is still impressive from her in 2nd position. And Genya as well. I mean, keep an eye on her and Georgia. I mean, there's so many in that top 6, but with impressive performances. But disappointment for Petra and Julia. Didn't like those last 2 especially. Didn't work for them.
And you have to think that, again, Camilla is having a great time coming off of an 8th place finish at the European qualifiers for the Olympics. She sort of had a standout performance there. You have to think that she's really excited about this event.
Okay, well, listen, we've just found Georgia Tessio, who has been found by interview crew, so let's go to her.
Georgia, congratulations. Well done today. How did you enjoy it out there? How do you rate your performance?
Had really fun. I mean, it was nice to try a new format. It was fun, yeah.
4 top outs for you, but some of the competitors did struggle. How difficult was the wall today?
I think it was both hard because there were pretty powerful boulders, so getting in the end with still having power to do them all was very challenging, and also with the heat and the sun on the wall was very hard to, keep the energy to do everything.
But you and Camilla did very well. It's a good day for Team Italy.
Yeah, pretty good. I didn't expect that. I mean, sure, Camilla is very strong, but I didn't feel very good in the past days, so I'm very happy with how did it go.
And that gives you both a lot of confidence for the final?
Yeah, I mean, I'll try to enjoy as much as I can and see if there's any power left for the finals, but I have fun for sure.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you to Georgia. Well, we'll say goodbye to Michael as well. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Matt. It's been an absolute pleasure.
See you soon. Let's check out some of the highlights from that semi-final. Sit back and enjoy. Well, there we go. What moments from earlier on this afternoon. One last time to check out the leaderboard with Camilla Moroni leading the way. So she will climb last this evening, having qualified in first position. Down at the bottom, though, Agatha just squeaked in. She will be climbing first due to qualifying last, and Julia and Petra Klingler knocked out of our top 8. Well, that is it for this afternoon. We will return 7 p.m. Saudi Arabian time for the women's final. What an event that's going to be. My name is Matt Groom, and I will be seeing you guys very, very soon.